Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel, Joshua Partugi here, delivering another content for you from Brisbane, Australia. So today I would like to answer the question that I often get from people. How do you start Agile in the company? In fact, several people also have left comments on this channel with this question. Manny, who is based in Sydney, also asked me this exact question during my last live stream. On that live stream, I promised him that one day that I'm going to make a video to answer his question. Now, if starting the journey towards agility at your company is one of your goals for 2023, stick around because I will be back right after this one. In this video, whenever I say agile, it is referring to the lowercase a agile or the whole company's capability in delivering value to the customers continuously and being competitive in the market. To avoid confusion between the lowercase a agile and the uppercase a agile, I'm just going to say agility throughout today's video. Now, let's get back to today's topic. How to start the journey towards agility in your company. The fact is, there is no single right way to start the journey towards agility because every company is different. Every company is operating in different industries and has different business models. Every company has different legacies or history. Every company has different leaders with different leadership styles. Every company has different people with different backgrounds, different preferences, different motivations, different expectations, different life values and principles, and the list can go on and on. At the end of the day, every starting point and every journey towards agility is different because every company consists of different human beings. There is no single absolute starting points towards agility. What works at other companies may not necessarily work at your company. You need to inspect and adapt what works for your company's context. In today's video, folks, I will give you 4 quadrants as a guideline for you to lead your company towards agility. With these quadrants, I do hope you can identify a starting point and the path towards scaling agility that is fit for purpose with your company's context. Alright folks, before we see the whole 4 quadrants, let's start with the horizontal spectrum first. In this spectrum, you either start the journey from the principles first or the practices first. In some companies, people prefer to start with the principles first, or as I often say, start with the why. Not many people like starting the journey with the principles first because some people may see principles as too abstract and not practical. But from my personal experience, companies with many deep thinkers prefer to start the journey with the why first before the how. On another spectrum, you can start with the practices first. Practices, unlike principles, are concrete and more practical. Practices is about the how, and sometimes it is also about the what. Within some companies, the people in there prefer to start the journey towards agility with concrete practices first. Now let's talk about the vertical spectrum. In the vertical spectrum, it tells you at what level you want to start the journey towards agility in your company. In the top spectrum, you start at the senior leadership level first, while at the bottom spectrum, you start at the smallest entity in the company first. In most cases, that smallest entity would be a team, or it could be a department like marketing department or IT department, or it could be the people operations department. Alright folks, after seeing both spectrums, let's see the whole 4 quadrants. So in quadrant 1, you start the journey towards agility in the company by emphasizing the principles to people at the senior leadership positions first. In some companies, it is much more powerful to talk about the principles to the senior leaders first. Those principles may be about the theory of constraint, lean principles, Scrum values and principles, complex theory, psychological safety principles, servant leadership principles, etc. In some companies, emphasizing principles to the senior leadership level first might not even make a dent. So in quadrant 2, we start agility in the company by emphasizing concrete practices to the senior leaders first. These concrete practices may be evidence-based management, beyond budgeting, value stream mapping, sociocracy, etc. In many cases, you will see some of the senior leaders at your company prefer principles first, while some others may prefer concrete practices first. So sometimes you need to sway around between the principles and the practices to these senior leaders, depending on who you're talking to. So only you know the characteristics of the senior leaders at your company. Now, in quadrant 3, you start agility by emphasizing the principles at the team level first. Besides Scrum values and principles, these principles may be the DevOps 3 ways, 12 agile principles, extreme programming values, design thinking, etc. Some teams prefer to start with the why first because they do not want to be constrained by certain practices, and they prefer to come up with their own practices as they evolve as a team. In many teams though, when you start with the principles first, they may see it as too abstract, too confusing, too fuzzy, and too ambiguous. In that situation, they may demand you to tell them the concrete practices first. So, in quadrant 4, you start agility by emphasizing concrete practices at the team level first. Most of the teams I have worked with wanted me to tell them the concrete practices towards agility before the principles. Scrum might be a suitable starting point towards agility for your team. Or if your team is a software development team who are highly technical, you might want to start with extreme programming practices or DevOps practices first. Or you may start with Kanban by visualizing the work, limiting the work in progress, and optimizing the flow of value using flow metrics, and then show them how you can be more agile after identifying the bottleneck in the whole system. Or in some cases, you may incorporate Lean UX practices so designers and engineers can work together without handing off work over each other. From these quadrants, I do hope you can create a strategy to start the journey towards agility at your company. I cannot tell you which quadrant you should start first and which quadrant you should go next because I don't know your company. In some cases, you may start in the middle, influencing both the senior leaders and the team at the same time. In some cases, starting in the middle may create a mess or a confusion, or it might reduce your focus because you need to be all over the place. In some cases, you might not make much progress when you are spreading yourself too thin. If you have quite a high position in the company, or people at senior leadership position have trust in you, you may start influencing the senior leadership level first. You may want to start at the senior leadership level first because people at the staff level are quite skeptical that things will change unless the senior leaders are changed first. You may also want to start influencing the senior leadership level first because you are working in a global multinational company and you know that grassroots movement may take ages in companies at this scale. Once you have influenced the senior leaders, the message can trickle down to the bottom and throughout the company. You may need to work together with the human resources or the people operations department to spread the message throughout the company. In some cases, influencing the senior leaders is tougher, especially when you have not gained their trust or because they want you to show the evidence first before scaling out agility throughout the whole company. If you are not in a leadership position, in some cases, it is better to start at the team level first or in one department first because trust has not been gained from the senior leaders and it is much easier to influence our colleagues who might be at the same level as us. When you start at the team level first, basically, you want to create an alliance to influence the senior leaders so that you can give evidence or proof to the senior leaders why the whole company, including the senior leaders, needs agility. So again, folks, every company is different. Hence, the starting point towards agility for every company is also different. But I do hope these quadrants and some insights that I have shared with you in today's video can give you a starting point to start the journey towards agility at your company. Thank you for watching today's video until the end, everybody. If you found today's video valuable, don't forget to click that like button down below, and also don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you're interested to see more contents like this one in the future. And lastly, I would like to thank you for all of your support to this channel throughout 2022. Happy holidays, everyone. Hopefully you will have a wonderful journey towards agility next year. I'm fading to black now.